Audio 1 Mother's Teachings. Courage to surrender. A drop of water once decided to surrender to a burning coal. Coal cautioned it, "You are mad. If you will come to me, your existence will be finished." But the drop fell on the burning coal. Coal said, "Just see, you are now totally finished." A voice came from the sky. No, I am not finished. So far, I was on the ground, but after surrendering to you, I have been vaporized and have risen high in the sky. Drop in the form of vapors was flying in the sky. She further said, "I have risen since I had the courage to surrender." Whosoever surrenders to God gets all the help from Him and rises. First, reform yourself. A crow had his nest on a tree. One day he decided to leave his nest and go towards the east. A nightingale asked the reason to leave this place. Crow replied, "People of this area do not value my beautiful tone and call it harsh. They have no manners." Nightingale said, "Uncle, you must first reform your voice. Otherwise, you will have the same complaint against people of the East also. If one does not have good habits, he is disregarded everywhere. One must always try to reform himself." Love everybody. A shepherd was carrying a sheep on his shoulders. He very lovingly placed it on the ground. Then he bathed it and dried its hair. Shepherd was very happy and was feeding green grass to that sheep. Mahatma Isa was sitting nearby. He asked the shepherd, "Son, why are you so happy today?" "Mahatma ji, the sheep mostly strayed in the forest. I have 100 more sheep. They all come home. I am giving her so much love so that she may not go astray anymore." Isa gave a lesson to his disciples. There are persons who have strayed from the righteous path. They shall be taken to the correct path with love and affection. Who to surrender his ego? There was a small river. A log of wood was placed on it to cross over to the other side. At a time, only one person could walk over it. Once, 2 goats came from opposite side and reached the log at the same time. Both came up to middle of log and wanted to cross first. None was prepared to go back and allow the other to cross. They were egoistic and not prepared to surrender. To demean other, they started pushing and fighting. Both fell down in the river and were drowned. Too much arrogance and obstinacy is always harmful. Same is the position of various sects and religion. Their main principles are common. They all teach humanism. But ignorant persons don't understand this. They insist and fight on irrelevant and insignificant issues, creating panic and unhappiness in the society. Golden egg. A person possessed a hen which produced 1 golden egg every day. He used to sell it and lived happily. One day, greed prevailed over him. He thought to cut hen's belly and take out all the golden eggs at once to become rich instantly. He cut open hen's belly, but there was not a single egg inside. Due to his greediness and ill thinking, he even lost the advantage of getting 1 golden egg every day. He could only repent now. Follow the righteous path. An artist painted the portrait of a beautiful child. This picture was liked so much that lakhs of copies were sold out. After 15 years, he wanted to paint the picture of a wicked person. He came to the prison and selected a dangerous criminal as his object. He told the criminal, "I want to paint your picture." "Why?" came the question. Artist told all about his plan and also showed him the picture of the child. Criminal saw the picture carefully and started weeping. He said, "I am the boy in this picture." Artist was surprised and asked, "How did this happen? An innocent child becoming a dangerous criminal. Why so?" "I forgot the goal of my life and got involved in worldly pleasures due to bad company. Kindly save me. I want to change," replied the criminal. Some persons realize that they were on the wrong path and with the company of good persons follow the righteous path. True devotion. An uncivilized person once approached philosopher Aristotle. He wanted to know about God and how to worship. His hairs were badly entangled and clothes were dirty. Aristotle looked at him from head to feet and smiled. He gave him a very simple advice. As a first step, you start daily washing your clothes and properly dressing the hair. To find out one's mistakes and to correct them is worship. This is true devotion to God and leads one to Him. Always work and progress. After flowing a long distance, a river felt tired and told her friend, "I am tired and bored by constantly flowing. I want to rest, but there is no time for it. What is the use of such a life? Now I will not flow further. Here are many cool and pleasant mango groves, so I will rest here." She stayed back and started filling lower portion of land between the trees. Other rivers moved on saying, "Why you forget that purity, cleanliness and health of our water is in its constant flow. If you give preference to idleness in your life, you will certainly lose your natural qualities." First river ignored the knowledgeable advice of her friends and took the shape of a pond. After few days, a layer of algae covered it. The water became so foul and polluted that villagers stopped using it. Even for washing clothes, animals also refused to drink it. One must develop the habit of constantly working and progressing. This keeps the life pure and healthy. He who gives is with me. Hatim was a very famous learned person. Once he was going to another country for few days and asked his wife, "How much food, grains and other eatables I should keep in the house for you?" "As will be enough for my life," she laughingly said. "How could I know your remaining age?" said Hatim. "Then you don't worry for my fooding. Let it be done by the person who has been doing it so far." Hatim was very pleased to see her devotion to God and went on his journey. A neighboring woman asked, "Daughter, what provision Hatim has made for you?" Hatim's wife replied, "Mother, what provision my husband can make? He was one who consumed. One who provides food is still here. I always feel his presence around all the time." Struggle for success. There was a wound on the back of Maharishi Dhanvantri. To prepare medicine for it, he searched medicinal herbs around his ashram. he examined the qualities of many herbs in that forest. One day, while he was roaming in the forest, a herb said, "Maharaj, I am the proper medicine for your wound." Dhanvantri said, "Why you did not tell me so far? I had to struggle all the time." Herb said, "Maharishi, if you would have obtained me without any effort, how could you examine so many herbs and had the knowledge of their qualities? By your effort and struggle, you have got the power to treat the public. One gets success by sincere effort and struggle." Audio 2, name of the book, Mother's Teachings. Shivaji refused to bow down. Shivaji's father, Shahji, was an officer in the royal court of Nawab Bijapur. One day, he took 8-year-old Shivaji with him to the royal court and said, "Son, please bow and salute the king." Shivaji clearly refused to bow his head before a tyrant. Nawab looked at him with anger, but it had no effect on Shivaji. He did not bow down and returned back. One must bow down before truth and not before falsehood. Use your wisdom. A father and his son were going somewhere with a horse. Father was sitting on the horse while the son was on foot. When they passed through a village, people said, "How selfish is the father! He is sitting on the horse while the son is going on foot." Listening to this, father got down and his son sat on the horse. In the next village, people condemned the son and said, "How funny it is that young son is on the horse while old father is going on foot." On hearing this, both started to walk on foot with the horse. In the next village, people laughed at them by saying, "How foolish! They have a horse and are still walking on foot." Now both sat on the horse. Persons of the next village cursed them and said, "With such heavy load, they will kill the horse." Hearing so many different views, both father and son thought, "It is a very funny world. It is difficult to please everybody. One must decide by his own wisdom and reasoning as to what is proper and just and should not care for what others say." Sikandar and Sant. Sikandar was on his mission to conquer the whole world. He was blown with vanity. He had heard a lot about the powers and merits of Indian sons. There was a son's hut quite close to his camp. When he heard about his reputation, he went to meet him. He was impressed by the glowing face of the son, but noticed that neither he had clothes to wear nor proper place to live. Intoxicated with pride in his wealth, Sikandar said, "Maharaj, how can I help you?" Sant replied, "What help can you do? My only supporter, Almighty God, is always with me to help. If you want to oblige me, please let the sun rays come to me. You are standing between the sun and me. Please move aside." Sant had no desire or greed. Seeing this, Sikandar was greatly influenced and quietly went away. One who is totally devoted to God needs nothing. He is always satisfied and happy. Mother's teaching. A king named Ravi Shankar Maharaj was very generous. He used to donate Savaman, about 50 kgs jaggery every day. Once he was giving jaggery to a small girl, but she refused. King asked, "Why are you not taking it?" Girl replied, "I have been taught to accept only that which is earned by doing labor." King again asked, "Who gave you this teaching?" "My mother," she replied. King secretly inquired about her mother. He came to know that she was a widowed Brahmin lady living with her daughter. They picked wood from the forest and sold that to meet their needs. On learning this, King said, "In a country which has such mothers, Children are always cultured, sanskarwan. They live on their labor and never accept anything for free. Sadhu got a lesson. A sadhu was a very miser and greedy. He begged throughout the day, and whatever he got, he converted it into gold coins. Once he decided to go on a religious pilgrimage. As he had a large number of gold coins, he feared that someone may not snatch them from him. He got an idea. On the bank of river Ganga, he buried all gold coins in a pit and put a round stone over it to make it look like a Shiv idol. He adorned it with flowers and fruits. He felt relaxed and moved on. After 4 days, it was festival of Somvati and large crowd collected to take bath in Ganga. One person saw the shivling on the bank. Many others also followed the same tradition. Soon, there were hundreds of stones adorned as shivling on the river bank. When Sadhu returned, he was surprised to see so many shivlings and could not locate the one he had established. In daytime, it was not possible to uproot them and get back his gold coins. In the night, he tried but could not get his money. Dejected, he returned to his hut. He thought over all this and became sorry for his conduct. When he had become a sadhu, what was the need to collect so much money? He should have used it in the service of poor and helpless persons. He considered it to be a boon of God that he changed his mentality. For him, it was a virtuous result of pilgrimage. Blind imitation is never good. Babies of a duck used to swim in a pond. A rat also lived in a burrow near the pond. Her babies also wanted to swim and insisted for the same. Mother rat explained to them, everybody cannot do similar work. For you to dig a burrow is as important as swimming for ducks. Don't think of swimming. We are not fit to swim. Babies did not listen to their mother's advice. When they got an opportunity, they jumped in the pond to swim but were drowned. Without assessing one's capabilities, blindly imitating others is always harmful. Generous gift. Mahakavi Magh was famous for his generosity. Those days, his financial position was not good. Yet he was as generous as before. One night, a person came to his residence and said, I have to marry my daughter but have no money. Hearing about your generosity, I have come to request you for some help. Magh became very emotional. He looked at his possessions. He had not even 100 rupees. Just then he saw his wife sleeping nearby. He quietly took out a gold bangle from one hand and gave it to his guest, saying, At this time, I am sorry. Please accept whatever I have. By this time, his wife woke up and realized the gravity of the situation. She came smiling with her other gold bangle and said, How can marriage be performed with one bangle? Take this second one also. She gave the second bangle also. Magh was thrilled on his wife's generosity. Shivji became a leper. Once Parvati asked Shivji, Bhagwan, people perform so many rituals to worship God, but they don't get advantage of their devotion. Why is it so? Shivji said, all these religious rituals are merely hypocrisy and an outward show. They neither love God nor there is any spirituality in their mind. To test this, they both came to earth. Mother Parvati appeared as a charming married lady, while Shivji as an ugly person, suffering from leprosy. Both sat near the stairs of a temple. People looked upon them and went away. Hardly a few threw some coins towards them. Some even remarked, Why are you wasting your life with this leper? Leave him, come with me and live like a queen. Parvati ji could not tolerate all this and said, Let us return to Kailash. They are really hypocrites and dirty persons. Just then, a poor and simple devotee came. He touched Parvati's feet and said, "Mother, you are really great and are serving your husband. Let me clean his wound and then we will eat together whatever I have." That devotee cleaned and dressed the wound. He gave them sattu to eat and again saluted and started for the temple. Shivji said, "He is the only real devotee. Such persons are rare. All others are hypocrites." They both appeared in the true form before this devotee and blessed him. Sant's teachings. A rich person remained in the service of a sant for a quite long time. Sant was extremely pleased. When he was about to go, the person requested him to give some gifts which may take him to God. Sant gave him 3 things: candle, needle, and some hairs. That person was surprised and said, "How will I reach God through these things?" Sant explained, "Burn yourself like a candle to enlighten others. Like a needle, remain naked but stitch the holes of others. Remain soft and submissive as hairs are. These are the 3 things that will take you to God. Remember and follow them." Rituals and worship are simply the means to concentrate the mind. True devotee is one who has purified his mind and conduct. Audio 3. Name of the book: Mother's Teachings. Trapped by the blanket. A husband and wife were walking on the shore of a river. They saw a blanket floating in the river. The husband was tempted and jumped into the river to take the blanket. He was a good swimmer and thought that he will soon come out. But he started floating and drowning with the blanket. His wife shouted, "Come out soon. If the blanket is heavy, leave it." Husband cried, "I want to come back, but the blanket has trapped me. I am not able to free myself from its clutches." Actually, it was not a blanket, but a bear. Similarly, people are trapped by greed, lust, etc. These vices keep them under control, and the person might not be free in spite of his best efforts. One should remain away from vices. Lincoln paid the cost. In childhood, Abraham Lincoln was fond of reading biographies of great men. He had no money to purchase books and borrowed them to satisfy his desire to study. Once, he borrowed a book from a person who lived at a distance of 10 miles. There was rain in the night and water trickled over the book. He had promised to return the book safely, but it was damaged. Lincoln was worried. He returned the book at the fixed time and also told that it has been damaged by rainwater. It was decided that Lincoln will work at the house of that gentleman to earn enough money so that the new book may be purchased. Lincoln readily agreed and returned home only after paying the cost of the book. One has to work hard to become great. They become a source of inspiration for others. Cheat returned the horse. 2 friends, Naveer and Wahir, lived in Arabia. Wahir had a magnificent horse. Naveer wanted to take it somehow. One day, Naveer disguised as an old sick woman and lay down crying near the seashore. Wahir came down from his horse, helped the old sick woman to sit on it, and himself walked on foot. Naveer got the opportunity and kicked the horse to run. Wahir was surprised and also pained. He shouted at Naveer to stop, and on reaching near him said, "It's all right that you got the horse, but do not tell anybody about this incident. Otherwise, nobody will ever come to the help of poor and sick persons. They will also be considered as cheats." Naveer went away with the horse. He thought over the words of his friend and returned the horse next day. 7 pots of money. Madhuvarta was in the service of King Samudradat. He was happy with his earning and lived happily with his wife and children. One day, Madhuvarta was passing through a jungle where he heard a voice coming from a peepal tree. Will you like to take 7 pots of money? Madhuvarta became greedy and agreed. Again came the voice, Go, they will reach your house. When he reached home, his wife told him that 7 pots have been delivered. He looked into them. 6 were full of money, while 7th was half empty. Now Madhuvarta wanted to fill the 7th pot also. He cut down his expenses on food, etc. to save money. Result was that they all became very weak. His family was badly affected and all were in trouble. One day, King Samudradat saw Madhuvarta in a very distressed condition and said, Have you got the 7 pots of money from Yaksha? Madhuvarta said, Yes, Maharaj. King laughed and said, That is the root cause of all your problems. If you want peace, return them. Madhuvarta realized his mistake and returned the pots. He and his family became happy and healthy as before. Those who live within limits are always satisfied and happy. Farsighted king. In a state, there was a very funny rule. A person was selected from the public to be the king for 10 years and thereafter sent to a barren island. Many kings had lost their lives at such places. Even during kingship, they always remained worried for their future. Once a very prudent person became the king. He kept the future in mind. He surveyed the island where he was to go after 10 years. He made arrangements to start farming, planting trees, and constructing lakes for water. He settled several persons there to develop the island. After 10 years, that island became a pleasant place. King went there and lived happily. Every person has got time to decide and prepare for his future. One who acts prudently in his present life and prepares well for his future is always happy, like this far-sighted king. Honor of sacrifice. A person was a miser. He did not spend money even for his needs. He owned lakhs but used to wear old and torn clothes. There was only one thing that he attended, satsang of learned persons. He used to sit in the back near the shoes and listened to the discourse. On the last day, everybody brought something to offer to the sant. That miser brought something in a dirty cloth. When all others had offered, he came and opened the cloth. It contained a large number of gold coins and gold. He offered them to the sant and moved on. Sant said, Not there, Sethji. You come and sit near me. Sethji said, This will be honoring the money and not myself. Sant smiled and said, No, Sethji. This money was already with you. This honor is not for money, but for your sacrifice to donate it. If you will behave like this in future, you will always be honored. True value of money is to use it for the welfare of society. That Seth learned this lesson by attending the satsang. Satisfaction is the greatest wealth. A person approached a sant and requested him to give some money so that he may do something to earn. Sant said, I have only this langoti and a piece of cloth with me. Langoti is necessary for me, but you can take this cloth. I have nothing else to give you. But the man continued to implore. Now Sant said, All right, there is a stone lying behind my hut. It is said that iron becomes gold by touching it. You may take it. That man happily ran and brought the stone. He yelled with delight, Mahatma, this is Paras. You threw it like this? Sant said, "Yes, my son, I know it, and also know that it is the door to hell. By God's grace, I have the greatest wealth of self-satisfaction. It gives me enlightenment and also inspires to learn more and more. What will I do of this stone that can give me only momentary pleasure?" The man also threw that stone and said, "Bhagwan, I don't want to be deprived of the self-satisfaction and God's grace due to this stone. Kindly inspire me to proceed on the same path that leads one to God." Sant took him as a disciple, and he also became enlightened and satisfied. Don't tolerate carelessness. Once Gandhiji was in Madras, now Chennai. There was a young boy who affectionately gave him a pencil to write. Gandhiji used that pencil for several days. One day, the pencil was misplaced. Gandhiji searched for it, leaving other important work. He was satisfied only when he got it back. He used to say, "I could not play with the feelings of that boy, nor can I allow carelessness even if it is mine. My little carelessness today may become great in future. It is a great sin. Such habits make a man great." Test of wisdom. A father had 2 sons. He wanted to test them and gave 10 rupees. He told them, "With this money, purchase such a thing which may fill the room from floor to roof." One son purchased fodder, while the other brought a good lantern. Light of this lantern filled the whole room, and it remained in use for a long time. Fodder brought by the first son decayed in a few days, and money had to be spent to throw it out. Father thus tested his sons to find out who was wise. He gave the property to the one who had brought the lantern. Havaldar Padma. There were many soldiers in the army of Gwalior state. A woman, Padma, became Havaldar in the army. Her brother, Joravar, failed to pay the debt and was sent to jail. Her family was suffering due to poverty. Hence, Padma posed as a man and joined the army. She worked as an ordinary soldier for some time, and then, due to her good conduct, was promoted as Havaldar. She was gradually repaying her brother's debt. One day, when she was bathing, somebody saw her. Soon the news spread that she was a woman. Complaint reached Maharaj Scindia. He called her to explain. She told everything that was true. King was pleased with her bravery. He paid her brother's debt from treasury and married Padma with an officer of his army. Women possess extraordinary qualities. Indian women are brave also.